Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Scott, and today we're going to be painting the orc Deff Dread to go alongside my new beast snagga boys, and alongside Mozrog, which we painted last week. And I'm very excited for this model. I love Deff Dreads. Now, this one was a bit of a challenge. I threw some white on my Deff Dreads, which I don't normally do with my orcs, but I wanted them to fit in nicely alongside my beast snaggas. So let's go ahead and dive into how I painted this model. To start this model off, we're going to use Leadbelcher Spray Primer from Citadel. For this build, we've gone ahead and left the arms disconnected from the main body. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to wash this over all the spots where we think we might possibly want to leave the Leadbelcher parts. You can go really heavy with this if you like. The more you do, the dirtier and more grimy your model's going to look. Once we've allowed that shade to dry, we're going to take Necron Compound. We're going to dry brush this all over the silver parts that we previously shaded with the Agrax Earth shade. Now that that's done, we're going to take Temple Guard Blue, and we're going to paint this on some of the armor panels. Now my general rule when I paint armor on orc vehicles is to not have two panels that are touching each other be the same color. So I'm just going to pick out a few panels with this blue color, and then I'll pick out more with my next color afterwards. Now I'm going to go through, and we're going to take Balthazar Gold. We're going to pick out other armor panels on the model with this color. Now we're taking into account here, this is not going to stay this copper color. I'm actually going to layer over this with a gold color later, so it doesn't matter if I get perfect coverage with this color. Now once that color is dried, we're going to take Wraithbone. I'm going to paint this on the remaining armor panels that we haven't picked out with the other two colors. Now this one we do want to get good coverage on because this is going to serve as the outermost layer of this color. Now you're going to want to thin down your white just a little bit because if you don't, it's going to come out kind of pasty. So you're going to do this in a few thin coats, possibly 3 or 4. Now once we're done with that, we're going to take Quellia Green Shade and we're going to wash this all over the blue panels that we did previously. This is going to give the appearance of them being dirty, discolored, and we're going to go ahead and let the shade pool up, especially in the crevices and intersections between armor plates. We're going to take Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to wash this just all over all of the Balthazar Gold panels that we painted earlier. We're going to go ahead and go heavier in some areas and not so heavy in others. This is going to come in handy with our next step when we start layering gold over this copper. Now, while we still have the Agrax Earthshade out, we're going to take a finer detail brush, not our finest, but a finer one. We're going to use this to shade the white panels, and we're going to do this by allowing it to pool in the recesses and crevices, and then we're going to gradually drag the paint down in stripes going vertically down the model. This is going to give the appearance of grime dripping down the model. Now once we've done that, we're going to take Retributor Armor. We're going to begin layering this over the copper panels. Now we're not going to do an even coat on this. We want the copper to show through in some areas as if this were an alloy or even just gold leaf that wasn't applied properly to the model. Once we've allowed that to dry, we're going to take Nihilic Oxide. We're going to put this in all the crevices and the areas where armor panels intersect, anywhere that we think water might pool up and create oxidation in the copper that's under this gold. You can go ahead and go heavy with this in certain areas if you see fit. Now we're going to take Temple Guard Blue again. We're going to begin layering over the blue panels we did previously, but we're going to focus on leaving the areas where the paint pooled up the most, the shade paint. We're going to leave those areas darker. So you're going to want to use this in a thinned down mixture so that you can build up your color gradually. Now we're going to take corn red. We're going to paint all of the little symbols and details that are sticking off of the armor, like this bone on the shoulder pad. There's a couple other symbols across the model. We're also going to take this opportunity to do some sort of war paint symbols across the model, similar to what you see on the Beast Snagga orcs on their box art. With that all done, we're going to take Nuln Oil. We're going to wash this over all the red. We're not going to do this on the free-handed war paint we did before, only on the red parts that are part of the armor or our tubes around the model. Once that's done, we're going to take Abaddon Black, and we're just going to paint this in the little visor area of the model to give the appearance of there being just an open recess into the inside of this Deff Dread. While we're at it, there's also a couple tubes across the model that we're going to paint in black. Now we're going to take Corax White. We're just going to paint this on some of the tubes that are coming off the back of the model. There's a couple on his arms that have this texturing that we've got on these back tubes as well. And anywhere we have tubes like that, we're going to paint them with this Corax White. We're also going to do the eyepiece on the front of the model, and any other spots where we think we might want to do like a glowing effect. Now once that's dried, we're going to take Tesseract Glow. We're just going to pool this up in the eyepiece. We're also going to grab the ends of the Kustom Mega Blasters to give it a green glowing effect, as if Wa energy is building up in the blaster. Now while that's drying, we're going to take Talazar Blue. This is a contrast paint, and we're going to water it down a little bit, and we're just going to apply it to all of the tubes. This is going to give the appearance of them being a light blue, almost a glowing color. There's also a light on the front of the Deff Dread. We're going to paint that with this color as well. Now we're going to take Warpstone Glow, and we're going to paint all of the cables that look like they might be electrical cords that are coming off of the model. There's a few on his arms, and a couple just spread across the model, on the sides of the model, and just in some random spots. So make sure you take your time to check and figure out where all these are before you start painting them. Now once that's done, we're going to take a Athonian Camo Shade, and we're just going to wash this over all of the green panels, or green cables we just did. This is just going to darken them down and make them look a little bit weathered. Now we're going to take Averland Sunset. We're going to paint this on the snake bites symbol that is above the Deff Dread. And this will take probably 2 coats if you've thinned it down to the proper consistency. We're just going to be careful not to get this on any of the details surrounding the symbol. Now once that's dried, we're going to take Seraphim Sepia. We're just going to wash this all over that yellow snake. This is going to turn it somewhat orange, but also give it some tints of brown to help dull it down so it's not quite as bright as it used to be. Now we're going to take Uriel Yellow. We're just going to edge highlight the snake. We're going to be careful when we do this. We don't want it to be too thick of an edge highlight, but at the same time, it doesn't need to be our absolute best fine edge highlight, because this is after all an orc vehicle, and the color is not always going to be evenly distributed on the model. Now we're going to take Morghast Bone, and we're going to paint this on the horns coming off of the top of the Deff Dread. There's also a couple like cloth wraps that are on the smokestacks coming out of the back of the model, and we'll paint those with this color as well. Now we're going to use Contrast Skeleton Horde, and we're just going to wash this all over the horns and the fabric wraps that are on the smokestacks. You can go a little bit heavier on this if you'd like, especially towards the base of the horns. Now finally, we're going to take Lead Belcher. We're going to go through, this is where we clean up the model. We're going to pick out any rivets or spikes that we want to be in this Lead Belcher color. We're also going to clean up any spots where the paint overlapped onto armor panels it wasn't supposed to be on. We can also at this point add paint chipping effects. And with that, we've finished our Deff Dread. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed it, go ahead and like it, and then go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can see future videos. And then comment down below and let me know what you thought of this model, and let me know what you'd like to see in future videos. Once again, thank you for watching, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.